Hello everyone, let us start with a new reading. In this reading, we are going to discuss letter from your future spouse, and along with that, we are going to see some channeled messages with the help of tarot cards. So you can select the letter based upon the intuition, and again, if you are not able to select with the help of letter, you can use the tarot cards for selection of the pile. This will be the first pile, this will be the first pile, and this will be the second pile. Okay, let us start with this pile. Okay. Okay, so as per this pile, first I'm going to read this letter and I'm going to include this, the things that are written in this along with this. The channel messages I'll be getting from this, and this will be used as a reference. Okay, so first thing is, I hope you learn to love yourself before you love me. So this is the first line. So as per this, this person might feel that loving yourself is very important for loving others. So this person practice self-love, and this self-love has been this habit has been taught to this person because of the struggles they have faced in their life. After facing their struggles, they have realized that loving themselves is very important. If they have love for themselves, then only they can give and spread love to others. That is why they want their future spouse, they want to say you right now that you must love yourself in order to love him or her. Okay, so the first thing is that they don't want you to feel bad about yourself, because you will be having many insecurities and they also have many insecurities. But these things doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is emotions. If you have good emotions for yourself, then it becomes very easier for you to spread those emotions with the people you love. You have bad days, you have good days, but feeling bad about yourself on a continuous basis can lower your self esteem. And this person believes in themselves, they also want you to believe in yourself. Things might not be in your favor, and things might not remain in your favor. The only thing that is in your hand is to trust yourself and to love yourself and care yourself. This person, if you are not practicing self love, this person will help you to practice self love. The way they are going to take care for yourself, you are going to feel love for yourself. With their company, you are going to learn to love yourself. If you are a person who is not loving yourself. Okay, and I can also feel that they might not express their feelings verbally to you very much. They might express their feelings with the help of their action or with the help of physical touch. Okay, I hope you never let me leave your side. This person, once they are going to come into your life, they are not going to, they don't want you to leave their side. They won't don't want, they always would like to, they'll try to find excuses to meet you somehow or another. Oh, I was passing by your home, so I thought I should see you, I should meet you. So these kind of excuses you are going to get from this person. This person will not look back. Once they are going to meet you, they may have met various heartbreaks in their life beforehand, but after meeting you, they'll try to find out time to spend with you, good quality of time, even after having a busy schedule. And seeing you will give them a different level of peace which they have never experienced before. Talking to you, showing their love and care towards you will help them to, in a way, nurture themselves, to love themselves. They are going to love you so that they can love themselves. So this will be a kind of a thing that will happen with you also. So when you are going to meet them, when they are going to meet you, their love for, and your love for them, their love for you is going to increase, and your love for yourself and their love for themselves is going to increase. Please don't take me for granted. This person will love you a lot. They are going to care for you a lot. They are going to even fight for you from the people they love. Okay, they can fight the world for you. If people are against you, they are going to fight with them. Then they'll not see who is standing in front of them. Okay, so they are going to love you that way, and that is why they think that they should not be taken for granted. You should not take their uh, way of showing their love, or their way of acting in front of you from for granted, because they are not going to let their ego enter into this connection, and they will also be demanding this thing from you, that you should not and never let your ego come into this connection. This connection will be very important to them. This connection, even now also, they are just wishing to meet the person who is their future spouse, and they want to build this kind of connection, but they are not able to find the right one. They have met many people, they have been into relationships, but they are looking for something permanent, and they are just waiting for God to send the right person. Okay, they have been into various relationships, they have met heartbreaks. Okay, and now they don't want any kind of uh, bad experience in their life. They have taken their lessons, they have learned their lessons, and they are waiting for someone to come into their life and to be permanent, to feel, they want to feel that dreamy fantasy connection with you, that is seen in movies. And they are waiting for you. They believe in God, and they have just surrendered this feeling to God, that they are going to meet their soulmate. They know that they are going to meet you very soon, but they are not eagerly waiting for it. They are not being impatient for it. They want it to, they want their meeting with you to happen naturally. Okay, they don't want to force anything. I'll be yours forever. I want to set an example with our relationship. They want to set an example with their relationship. They want to have a relationship with you which can be expressed to their, even their grandchildren are asking about your love story. The way you will be, they'll be behaving even when they'll be older and elder. They will have same kind of love, same kind of feelings. They'll always express their love to you. People are going to notice that this person loves you. Okay, and you love them. Through their actions, through their words, they'll always be kind towards you. And your couple, you both as a couple are going to set an example for the people around you, and because of the standards that you are going to set, because of the goals that you are going to meet regularly as a couple. Okay, and people are going to give very people are going to see you, look up to you, Even people can come and take advice regarding love relationships with you, because you will be having a successful marriage. I want to heal your past wounds with my words and actions. This person wants to heal your past wounds with their love and actions, with their actions. This card is also reflecting actions. So they know that each and every person has experienced something bad or another in their life, and they also have experienced many bad things in their life. They also have won many battles in their life. So they want to experience the your insecurities, your vulnerable side. They want to also share their vulnerable side with you. Okay, they want to have a connection that is going to heal their past wounds, and that will give that will just give them peace and security. Okay, I want to grow old with you and create a family with you. This person has strong desire to grow old with their future spouse and to create a family with them. They are looking for something that is long term and permanent. They are looking for a connection that is long term and permanent, and they are just wishing for it to happen as soon as possible. I want to treasure you and shower you with all my love. This person is going to treasure you. This person will be very protective of you. This person will not going to look back, and this person will not entertain the people who are not going to respect you. Okay, this person will demand respect for you from the people around them. If they are going to uh, listen, they are not going to entertain or listen any kind of criticism against you from people around you. They can even warn you uh, to not spend time with the people around, some people around you which they think are not good for you. Okay, but they, at the end, decision will be in your hand if you want to spend time with people that you love or not. They are not going to force anything onto you, but they'll try to be very protective. They'll, throughout their life, they are going to be very protective of you and even of their children, the children that you both will be having together. So this person will be an ideal spouse, an ideal parent, an ideal grandparent. This person, you are going to just love each and every moment you are going to spend with this person. I want to push you towards your goals. This person will continuously push you towards your goals, and you are going to push them towards your goals. It can be your career and personal and professional goals, and you both are going to build a very financially stable life together. You are going to learn new skills from each other. This person is going to take very interest in the uh, profession that you will be having, and you are going to take very much interest in the profession that they are having, and even you are going to be each other's best advisors. Okay, so this was your reading. I hope you liked it. Now let us move to the next pile. Okay, so this I'm going to read side by side, and rest of the message I'll be getting with the cards. I really wish I could see you right now. This person has a strong desire to see you right now. They just want to know their future spouse. They want to see their future spouse. They have various expectations uh, in terms of physical looks as well as nature of their future spouse, and they want to see whether you meet those expectations or not. And anyhow, they are going to like you. You will be meeting their expectations. You are their desired person. I want to share my deepest emotions with you. This person wants to share their deepest emotions with you. This person will love to take you on dates. This person will continuously plan vacations with you, one after another. This person will try to just find ways to spend time with you alone. This person will motivate you to just take a break from your career and go on a vacation with this person when you are not feeling well, when you are not feeling good. Okay, this person will know how to make you feel uplifted. This person will be your biggest motivator. This person will fight for you. This person will take stand for you. This person will, right from the very first meeting, this person will become madly in love with you. This person will just sense right from the first meeting that you are the one. Even if you don't have had any conversation in the first meeting, even if you don't just met each other, even if you don't even know each other's name, this person would be knowing just from the first look, just just after looking in your eyes, that you are the one. Okay, and I want to share my deepest emotions with you. Conversating with you makes me feel like you are the most important person in this world. When this person is going to take step towards you, when this person is going to have a conversation with you, then they are going to find that uh, the things that they are experiencing is more than infatuation. Okay, there is something deep that this connection has. Okay, you might feel at first that they are flirting with you, and they are the ones who are not really uh, looking for anything serious, but later on you are going to feel that this person has very deep emotions with you, and they have make up their mind for spending their rest of their life with you only. I want to be your strength. This person will continuously try to be your strength. They will hide things from you so that you don't feel weakness. They just want you to consider them as your strength. They'll be acting as your strength. You are going to even call this person anytime they are going to receive that call. They are going to always be there with you. They might not share their problems, however, because they don't want to trouble you. They will be knowing that some days are very important for you, and a particular period in your life may be very important for you, and in that period they are going to hide things from you, because they might be facing some problems in their personal life, and they might not want to trouble you by including you in those problems, because the thing that they value in all relationships is mental peace, and they want you always to feel mentally peaceful with them. They will be the persons who will not be having any kind of argument with you. They can even run away from arguments. Okay, because and even if they are very angry at you, they are never going to raise their voice on you. Even if you are raising their voice on them, they're not going to reply with that harsh words. They're never going to use any harsh words for you. They're never going to uh, make you feel cheated or betrayed. They're never going to hurt you, even unintentionally. Okay, I want to build the connection with you through which both of us are rising in love. This person wants to rise in love with you. This person wants to achieve their career goals and personal goals with you. This person wants to take you at different heights in your relationships, in your love life, as well as in your career. This person will be having a lot of knowledge and wisdom regarding the profession that you will be doing. Might be the case that this person is in the similar kind of profession, so they'll be the best advisor for you, because they'll be knowing A to Z about your profession. Okay, so they are going to give their insights and their knowledge to you, and the steps that they are going to tell you, the things that the way they are going to guide you, you will learn a lot about your career, and you are going to see them as your inspiration, as an inspiration. I'll always make you feel wanted or loved. This person is going to always make you feel wanted or loved, because they know that what they don't want to break your heart. Okay, they'll always protect your heart, they'll always care for you. They will be the person who will always and always care for you. They'll take care about you, whether you are eating on time, sleeping on time, taking rest. Okay, and other than that, they are going to help you financially, emotionally. They'll be the person who will always be there for you. They can do anything and everything just to uh, make you feel comfortable, and just to make you feel that yes, they are the ones who are always standing for you, even if no one in the world is standing for you. Okay, I'll never stop fighting for us. They are going to fight for you. If you are going to give up on this relationship, they'll be the one who will always again and again come to your life, again and again tell you that they love you and they're not going to leave you. They will be the one who will, with the help of them, you are also going to learn that yes, you have to, sometimes you have to fight with the battles of your life in order to be with the person you love. Okay, there might be bad times that you are going to face together, but you will act as each other's strength in those times. You'll never even think about leaving each other in the worst situation. You'll just stick together, you'll bear everything together, but you are not going to leave each other. I'll never let you down. I love you always, now and always. So this person, even somewhere somehow, this person knows that there is someone for them. They are also waiting for the right person, and someone on this planet is also waiting for them. Okay, so they might also even see you in dreams, but they have vivid dreams. They are having vivid dreams right now. The day they are going to meet you, their dreams will get clear. They'll see you in their dreams right from the very first day they are going to meet you. They'll start seeing you in dreams. Maybe you can also start seeing them in dreams. And you both might be having a lot of enemies around you. Maybe the people that you trust as a friend might be your enemies, so you have to be very protective of each other, and you are going to recognize it slowly and gradually. They are going to be very protective of you, and you are going to be very protective of them, because you both will be surrounded by people. Okay, so you have to take care about setting boundaries. Okay, and you have to take care for protecting this relationship as well. So this was your reading. I hope you liked it. Like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.